Hello, dear learners. Wishing you all a very happy Sunday and happy Father's Day. Hoping that you all cherish today's. Before beginning the second chapter of class 12, Lost Spring by Annie's Jung, I would like to express my hearty thanks to all of you for giving such a huge support and positive response. Thanking you. Now, let's begin today's chapter, Lost Spring. As I've already told you, who has written this chapter? This chapter has been written by Anis Jung, one of the Indian writers, journalist, who belongs to an aristocrat background. In spite of this, knowing the pain, the suffering of poor children, those poor children who deprived the springtime of their lives, that is childhood. All of we are already known the literal meaning of spring. Spring, that means happiness, a season full of color, full of joy, full of happiness. And we all enjoy that season, either poor or rich. But Annie Jung, she wants to reflect how the poor children who don't get success to enjoy their childhood. She refers childhood to springtime. And she sees that due to extreme poverty, as they belong from poverty background, the poor background, they never enjoy their childhood. At the time of playing, at the time of getting joy, at the time when they have to enjoy, when they have to have fun, that time they just trying to engage themselves somewhere to earn their livelihood. Really, it's quite absurd. It's quite painful. It's quite shocking to one and all. And through this chapter, Annie Jung wants to reflect the theme of poverty, the theme of child labor, the theme of traditions, that how these poor people never come outside from their poverty, right from their birth to their death. They are just confined their lives in such poverty-stricken life. Really, it's quite suffering. It's full of pain. It's full of sorrow. This chapter has been divided into two subtitles. As we know that the very first subtitle is Sometimes I Find a Rupee in a Garbage. And the second one, I Want to Drive a Car. The chapters definitely divided into two parts, but its theme is same. Both chapters run on the same theme with the same message. The pain and the suffering of these poor children. How, due to poverty, they compelled to do work somewhere. They never think about their hobbies. They never think about their desires. They never enjoy their desires. They never cherish those feelings. So, let's start the very first subtitle. Sometimes I find a rupee in a garbage. Sahave Alam is one of the most prominent characters of this subtitle. Sometimes I find a rupee in a garbage. The title referring that Sahave Alam, who is the main character of this chapter, he plays the role of a rag picker, a poor rag picker. Rag picker who picks the rag, who picks the garbage. Obvious, the people, the person, the child who picks the garbage is not rich. He is poor. Now, all of you just think, the name of that character is what? The name of that character is Sahave Alam. And what's the meaning of his name? What's the literal meaning of his name? The literal meaning of his name is Lord of the Universe. That means King of the Universe. But his conditions, his reality is a great contrast, is in the great contrary to his name. He is quite unaware about the real meaning, the literal meaning of his name. He is a carefree boy. He is in carefree way. He picking the rag. Always he just finding something in garbage. For picking the garbage for these poor children like Sahave Alam is a matter of wonder. Is wrapped in surprised. Whenever he is searching something in the garbage, having some expectations that he gets something. But these garbage for their parents, these poor children parents, these rag pickers parents are the source of their livelihood. Really, just to imagine, same things means are different for children and for parents. For children, this one is the source of wonder. What is the source of wonder? What is wrapped in surprised? Rag picking. And for parents, what is the source of this garbage? This is the source of their livelihood. Really, it's quite absurd. Now, one day, when the chapter starts, we come to know Annie Junks, the writer. She is wondering and she saw that boy, Sahave Alam, is searching something among the garbage. She went nearby him and very politely, very nicely and softly, she asked to Sahave Alam, "What are you doing here, dear? It's the time of schooling. At the time of schooling, at the time of getting educations, why are you wasting your time here?" Sahave Alam, in innocent way, very innocently, he replies, "There is no school in my surrounding. Then how I can get education?" And his Junks gives a smile and she says that, "If I will build a school for you, will you attend that school?" Sahave Alam says, "Why not? Definitely I will go there." That particular time when Annie Junks makes a promise, says Sahave Alam to build a school for him, for those rag pickers. She knows the reality of her promise, that this saying is just never confined, never just turned into that reality. She knows the saying of the rich people are quite different from their deeds. She knows the reality. She wants to reflect how the aristocrat people, the upper class people, the politicians, bureaucrats, how they make always fake promises to the poor people. Just like Anis Jung, who made a false promise to Sahave Alam to build a school for him. After some days, Sahave Alam came back to Anis Jung and asked her, "School is ready?" Anis Jung didn't say anything, just spread a smile as she realized her fake promises. Through that, she wanted to give a message to unveil the real picture, the real face of the rich people, the real face of the aristocrat people. Now, again Anis Jung saw that Sahave Alam is without chappal and shoes. He is barefooted condition. At the same time, she asked to Sahawe Alam, "What's the reason behind your barefoot condition?" He replied that having very few pair of shoes, one pairs of shoes, and that's why he wore that shoes occasionally. And secondly, he says that one of the other children with Sahawe Alam, he replied that what that as this one is the tradition to live in barefoot condition. That's why we live in such condition without shoes and chappal. Now, Anis Junks again gave her smile. Why she gave her smile? Because she knows that how these poor people, how these poor children, how these rag pickers want to hide the reality. The traditions and the keeping the lace shoes is not the reason behind their barefooted condition. But the reason is that their perpetual poverty. What's the meaning of the perpetual? Perpetual, that means that kinds of the poverty that cannot be ended with time. She knows the only sole reason behind their barefooted condition is their perpetual poverty. This one is also very important questions of this chapter. The second one, when Sahawe Alam, after giving such kinds of explanations, also she enjoying, he just with the company of Sahawe Alam just giving such a lame excuses, such a lame explanations to Anis Junks behind the barefooted conditions. And Anis Junks came to know about Sahawe Alam that he is a squatter, he is a refugee. Originally, he belongs to Dhaka, Bangladesh. And due to flood, due to natural disaster, his homes and others rag pickers' homes were washed away in Bangladesh and Dhaka. That's why now they settled in Simapuri. Simapuri is at the outskirts of Delhi. Now they shifted Sahawe Alam and other rag pickers in Simapuri. You just imagine what is metaphorically the writer Anis Junks wants to say by giving the example of Simapuri, by saying the line that Simapuri is at the outskirts of Delhi. This place is at the outskirts of Delhi, but the people of this place engaged in rag picking. They are poor. Delhi is known a city of rich people. Delhi is known for a colorful life. The people who live in Delhi, they are happy. But the people who live at the outskirts of Delhi, they are so poor. They don't have even sufficient food to satisfy their hunger. They don't have proper shelter to live. Their living conditions are so poor. They live in apartments. They live in dingy cell, the place where without light and air. They have no proper drainage system. Their living conditions are so poor. They have ugly doors. Just imagine what kinds of the surroundings, what kinds of the place they used to live. Anis Junks also wants to reflect the small desires of these rag pickers. She recalled a story of Udupi, a place of Udupi, where there is a boy whose only wish is to get a chappal and juta. For this, he always went to the temple. Ultimately, his desires is to be fulfilled. Not only his desires, but all the poor children who live in the surroundings of that Udupi. It is quite different that those people wish were fulfilled, but at the same time, these rag pickers wish how it would be fulfilled. This one is the thinking of Anis Junks. Now, we come to know these Sahawe Alam having likes to play tennis. How he satisfied his likes? He only satisfies these likes by watching the tennis game, the tennis match. behind the boundary of that stadium. He used to wear that discarded shoes of tennis, and he was so happy. These poor people, whenever they get something, it doesn't matter for them whether these things were discarded or something else, but happy. Soon after, we come to know, after living in midst of such poverty, facing such kinds of all the problems, Sahwe Alam, due to extreme poverty, he started to work at a tea stall. This one is the end of the springtime of his childhood. He started to work there only for 800 rupees, including meals. And Annie Junks again she says that what? She says this Sahwe Alam, whose literal meaning is the Lord of the universe, he just mortgaged his freedom only for 800 rupees, including meals. That plastic bags of rag picking is lighter than this milk canister. Milk canister seems full of burden. It's symbolized as a burdensome. It reflecting how much burden he has to face when he started to work in a tea stall. Dear learners, we come to know how this boy, Sahwe Alam, suffering from the last to the end. But the suffering is different. When he is a rag picker, he is free. Whenever he wants, he does the rag picking. And whenever he doesn't want, no one compels him to do the rag picking. But when he started to work in a tea stall, he lost his freedom. He lost his springtime. By this, just Annie Junks wants to say this. In the next class, in the next day, I will start the next subtitle of this chapter. I want to drive a car, and I make you aware about the character of Mukesh and how he lives in Firozabad. Till that, I hope you should read the very first subtitle, you come that subtitles, and you know the characters of Sahwe Alam, and you try to realize his feelings, his emotions, and his suffering. Thanking you. Bye.